Now we go back to Paul, who are getting a thumbs up that he is ready to roll. We go now. We talked about Pennsylvania with our latest guest, with Eddie, who is from the Philadelphia area. Let's actually go up to Pennsylvania, to York, Pennsylvania. We go. His ministry was originally named Jescott Music Ministries after his children, Jessica and Scott. Though now the ministry uses his name, he has kept the Jescott name for his weekly podcast, the Jescott Music Hour. Of course, it airs on the Christian Media Spotlight Radio Network. And of course, the radio network that he is a purveyor of. Anybody should go check it out. Notespire Music. He performed in his home area of Glens Falls, New York since the 70s. He was a member of the popular local group Sensation from 83 to 95, and in Travelin', another popular group in that area in the 70s. He started performing, writing, and recording Christian music in 1994 and is also a member of the Christian duo Touch of Faith. He performs concerts at churches and other events and locations, bringing his music and occasionally other Christian artists to the stage. He says, quote, he sings because the world needs Jesus, and it pretty much sums up the reason behind his music, drawing on his experience of over 45 years in music. His smooth vocal style and simple yet moving melodies and arrangements reflects his love for the Lord and the gift he's been given and desires to share with others. And yes, it says in my notes, so therefore it must be true. By the way, fun tidbit, Paul has been known to sing for his dessert. He's been known to sing for some apple pie. He is not beneath doing such things. Yes, he is a musician. He is a radio station owner. He is a kind of almost like you call it a brand manager, where he helps develop artists and utilizing their gifts and their talents through Notespire Music. He is a man of many hats. Please welcome from York, Pennsylvania, for the first time to Reser, Mr. Paul Gibbs. Paul, good evening to you, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Joe. Good to be here. How's our volume? I hope that's a little better.
Yes, I think a
Uh,
little bit louder.
all
Yes,
right,
indeed,
good,
sir.
good. All right. Well, it's good to be
How have
here,
you
and I got,
been? Yeah, what you been up to these last few months? Busy
oh my
running
goodness.
Notespire and busy with music
Ah,
and all the things.
well, as you know, Joe, I'm first and foremost a singer-songwriter, and I've been doing Christian music since the mid '90s. Uh, Music ever since the late '60s when I did secular music. I've done music all my life. Guitar was my first instrument, then organ, piano, added all that stuff. And God got a hold of me in the mid 90s and turned me around to Christian music and started writing and recording that. It's been busy. I haven't done all that much as a solo artist, although God has opened a few doors, and that's when He opens the doors, I go and share my music, just like I am right now. So, first and foremost, doing this, singing, songwriting, and sharing my gifts with people. But Notespire Music, which is a company that's been existing for about 4 years, that I founded with my friend and music partner Nate Miller. We've been putting together music, arranging music. We've been doing promotion. We've got video projects for a couple of different artists going on right now. All kinds of stuff. Plus the whole radio thing. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Do you enjoy wearing many hats and doing all the many different things from, the producing aspect and the radio and the music? Do you love just being able the versatility to be able
You know,
to do all of it?
I do, Joe, and jack of all trades, master of none. I guess I'm a self-proclaimed one of those. But you know
I'm
what?
right there with you, my friend.
Okay, yeah, I think and I think we're just musicians, or doing what you do. We're all kind of working together in all this, and I think in the people that I've talked to, yourself included, that many of us are, like the beginning, like the indie artists, for example, whether it's beginning or been doing it for a long time. We tend to we're the songwriter, we're the singer, we're doing the music, we're doing the record, we're all of it, So but it's good. I had dreams years ago. We'll go back 30 years, whatever, mid 90s. When I first started getting into Christian music, I thought, "Oh, this is all I want to do. I want to travel the world. I'm going to set the world on fire for the Lord. I'm going to, you know, sing it sold out, whatever." And God said, "No. You have a family to raise, you have kids to raise, you have a family to take care of, the day job to do. and all of that. So, and it took a little while, but I realized that my gift, my calling, is to use my gifts as a singer, as a solo performer. But right along with that, and more important, is to help others to use their gifts. Yeah.
And we are grateful that you're being used as a vessel not only to sing and perform, but also to help mentor and to help promote all these great indie musicians out there. So, very thankful for you and all that you do in your service, my friend. What is the first song that you're going to sing for us this evening?
This song, and I'm using background tracks tonight, and I do apologize to folks. Uh, anyway, uh, these tracks have been prepared right here in the studio. Uh, so we've switched over to using the phone instead of the tablet. This song here, many of you know about Kenny Rogers and his wonderful career over many years, but not a lot of people know that the last album he recorded was a gospel album. And this is it was called "The Love of God," and this song was one of those songs on there. And I'd like to sing this for you folks right now. It really tells us, and it's a statement of why we do what we do. And we've talked about that here. You guys have talked about that on here tonight on Red's Room. Why we do, and we always have to remember that why. Why are we doing this? So listen to the words of this. It's called "For the Love of God." I could follow him. I could pledge my faith. Bound by duty, I could honor and obey. But the love I found is compelling me to serve him from a heart that's been redeemed. I would give my all, everything I've got, to the highest call, for the love of God. Every day I live, I give no matter what, I will do it all, for the love of God. May I never serve from a heart of fear, thinking only that the end is drawing near. Oh, but Lord, I pray that in all I do, I'll be driven only by what pleases you. I would give my all, everything I've got, to the highest call, for the love of God. Every day I live, I'd give no matter what, I will do it all, for the love of God. No greater motivation, there is no higher call. My one and only reason remains the love of God. I would give my all, everything I've got, to the highest call, for the love of God. Every day I live, I give no matter what, I will do it all, for the love of God. for the love of God.
The love of God.
Amen. Amen. That's why we do what we
That's
do,
why we
or it
do what we
should
do.
be. Amen.
Mm. Stacy says an appropriate message to tonight's theme. I heard kind of the same message throughout the night. You really
Yeah.
keep the main thing, and
Right.
the
Yeah.
reason for why we do what we do. Beautiful song, says Stacy, performed earlier tonight. Denise says this is beautiful. Yes, amen. TJ, glad to see you. Nice to hear you tonight. Love it, Paul, says Josh. Yes, amen. Great to have Paul with us. What do you enjoy most about this stage of the game, you and your partner, about just being able to cultivate
Yeah.
others' giftings as you do with Notespire, and really being able to make sure that they are heard, as much as the mission is in Notespire. You have a great mission. You can even tell us the tagline if you want. I think it speaks to the heart of what Notespire is and what you do. And what is your favorite part about that aspect of it?
Well, Joe, as I go back to drawing on my own experience, and it was tell the story real quick. It was about 1996 when I wrote a song as a tribute to a firefighter in Hudson Falls, New York, where I lived at the time, and he was killed in the line of duty. And I wrote a song. I was just getting into Christian music at that time. I wrote a song called "A Father Like This." And that song, his name was Steve Teft. He was the program director at WWSC in Glens Falls, New York. I had no experience with radio, nothing at all. Uh, but I approached Steve, and he said, "Yes, we want to play that song on the radio," and they did. And I will never forget that feeling of having a song played one of my songs played on the radio. It brought me to tears at that point. And I'll never forget that feeling. And it was like God was saying, "Okay, Paul, you know how that felt. I want you to now help others to reach that point as well." And it was like a year, within the next year or so, I was asked to start a radio show, and I did. Fast forward many years, that was still doing the Just Got Music Hour, and then 4 years later, Notespire Radio, et cetera, et cetera. So I think the one of the most rewarding things for me is to be able to give that opportunity to other artists to have their music heard as well. But so many of them, and we get now to get to the other part of your question, Nate Miller and I, we are able to take, and in fact, we're working with a couple of artists right now to that have written songs but don't really know what to do with them. They don't know how to get those songs out there. They may not even think their songs are any good, but they will come to us and we help them produce the song, get their song or songs recorded, and then we have the radio station and other stations like yours to get their songs out there so that they can be heard by, like I like to say, a world that really needs to hear the message that's in those songs. So I think that's probably, all of that just gives you that warm, fuzzy, whatever.
I love the work that you do, my friend. It was great having a meal and coffee and just kind of breaking bread as if it were literally were, and just kind of just
Absolutely.
staring back and forth. It was fabulous. We'll have to do that again next time
We'll give a
here.
plug out to Round the Clock Diner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, call them
Stuff
up and
out
ask
there
them
in New
what
York.
times what time they close. Anyway, okay.
What's the next song you got there for us, Paul?
Well, here's another one, Joe, that another theme that we've talked about tonight. I don't know, just it's great how God works. But whatever our stage in life, uh, we may at some point, whatever the reason, it might be because we've got a lot more years behind us than we do in front of us. My hand's going up first on that one. Okay, or it might be, circumstances that have happened no matter what our age. We may feel today we may get to that point where we feel like I'm done. God can't use me anymore. For whatever reason. You fill in the blank there. But these words to this next song were written by my good friend Ted Brennan, and who's he's got more life behind him than he does in front of him. Ted's a retired pastor. I like to say he never retired from the pastorate, but so he gets to that point, and to some of us may think that we don't have anything left to give for whatever reason. Ted wrote these wonderful words, and I put them to music. So I want to share this song with you. It's called Life Left to Live. Goes like this. You got a lot of life left to live. You got a lot of life left to give. You might be feeling down, but you're not done. You got a lot of life left to live. You got a lot of love left to give. Above the clouds you'll see the shining sun. Well, it might look like your usefulness is over. You got nothing left, no use to anyone. But there's someone in your life today who needs God's love, so give it away. You might find your journey's just begun. You got a lot of life left to live. You got a lot of love left to give. You might be feeling down, but you're not done. You got a lot of life left to live. You got a lot of love left to give. Above the clouds you'll see the shining sun. Now if there's more time behind you than before you, just remember that our time is in God's hands. You've got a gift to share with someone else, so don't just keep it to yourself. 'Cause peace is found in doing what we can. You got a lot of life left to live. You got a lot of love left to give. And there are those who need God's love today. You got a lot of life left to live. You got a lot of love left to give. And love's not meant to keep, but give away. Well, if the devil's got you down, get up and fight. Rise up in Jesus' name and shine your light. You got a life left to live. You got a lot of love left to give. And there are those who need God's love today. You got a lot of life left to live. You got a lot of love left to give. Love's not meant to keep, but give away. You got a lot of life left to live. You got a lot of love left to give. Don't give up. God won't give up on you. You got a lot of life left to live. You got a lot of love left to give. You'll be amazed at what our God can do. You're gonna be amazed at what our God can do. Amen. Amen.
Hey
That
man,
goes
Paul
right
Gibbs
along
right
with our
here.
theme tonight. Huh?
I love how these songs are like going right along with the themes here tonight. Amen to that. When did you realize the gift of music was something that you knew in everything that you're doing now was such a huge pull and a huge calling in your life? Did you realize it from a young age, or did it come a little bit later on for you?
That's a very good question. Very good question. I've talked to people that, they don't get that, as you said, until later in life. For me, it was like it never stopped. It was I don't know, sixth grade, seventh grade, when I remember my parents took me to our high school presentation of The Sound of Music, and I think that was the point where when music uh, kind of came alive or woke up in me. It never stopped. It never stopped. But it wasn't until the mid '90s that I realized that there was a different purpose for my music, and all of that, all the secular stuff, the the bars, the clubs, the all that kind of stuff, the resorts and all that stuff that we played. Uh, it was all preparation for what I'm doing now. It's interesting. So I guess it's always been there. It's like you can't not do it.
Amen.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
do it well, my friend, for the better part
Thank
of
you.
what was that stat? 45 years, my friend. That's
Well,
amazing.
got a few.
You don't look a day over 45 or
Well,
40.
thank you so much. Yeah, I just turned 46 actually. Yeah.
What's the next tune you got for us? Got more left? What's the next tune you got there, Paul?
Well, this it's been early on I would not have considered, and I'm gonna this is a confession. Early on in my writing career, I would not have really even considered collaborating with someone else. But God had to kind of hone that ego or whatever, scrape that off, because I'll tell you, I've learned over the years that some of the best production, best songs, best work have been working with others and collaborating with others. And Ted Brennan is just one example. He's not really a musician; he plays guitar a little bit, but he's more of a poet and a songwriter, and he writes devotionals. So this next song is another poem. This comes from a poem that Ted wrote, and I want to share this with you. I put this to music and recorded it. We face troubles. We're always like tonight. I had to delay my part of this tonight because of equipment stuff. Anyway, trouble is always present in our lives, and no matter whether it's little or big or whatever, it's always there. But as this song says, um, let me get it queued up here. Um, okay, as I'm talking, I gotta find it here just a second. I'm not gonna. Um, this is part of the. Okay. Oh right. Well, guys, I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to change. I'm gonna have to change songs. Okay.
No
All right.
worries.
Oh, no worries. Okay, I'm going to
No
switch
worries.
gears. If you bring me back on, after this, I'm not sure you will. If you bring me back on, we're going to do it. So the song is called Not the Final Say. It's a great song, and it talks about how troubles do not have the final say in our lives. Jesus does. Okay, that sums up the song. You don't even have to hear it now. All right, so let's do this one. Let's do this one. This is a popular song that was popular, came out back in the '70s, I believe. So this is a cover tune I'm going to do, and this we'll end up with this one here. Okay,
This will be
and
the last one tonight. There.
one more.
This will be the last one tonight.
I think so.
Okay.
If you guys,
Okay.
yep, yep. Let's finish up with this one.
All
I
right.
want you guys to sing along, at least on the chorus of this one. Okay, here we go. Put your hand in the hand. Here we go. Put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the water. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Well, every time I look into the holy book, I want to tremble when I read about the part where the carpenter cleared the temple. For the buyers and the sellers were no different fellas than what I profess to be. And it causes me shame to know I'm not the guy that I should be. Put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the water. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Mama taught me how to pray before I reached the age of 7. And when I'm down on my knees, that's when I'm close to heaven. But Daddy lived his life with 2 kids and a wife. You do what you must do. And he showed me enough of what it takes just to get you through. He said, put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the water. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. One more time. Put your hand in the hand of the man who stilled the water. Put your hand in the hand of the man who calmed the sea. Well, take a look at yourself and you can look at others differently by putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. By putting your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Go on and put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee.
Ah, yeah. What a
Oh,
feel
that's
good
a
one to end it. Put your hand in the hand of the man from Galilee. Denise
man.
Switter says, what an oldie but goodie. Love it. Stacy agrees, who performed that with the word you said a moment ago, because that's how she mentors, is teaching people how to co-write well. So she appreciates that you guys do the same thing. Elizabeth says, I forget where I've heard this song before, but I know I've heard it, and I may or may not have sang a little to this. I was, and I'm smiling as I hear this because it's such an uplifting song, and this song is just so timely. Thank you to everyone. Yes, thank you, Elizabeth, for that great encouragement there. Paul, you do so much great work. Here is the chance for you to, if we want to connect up with you, and if they
Sure.
aren't, they should. Note Radio, Note Music, your music that's out there for people to listen to. Any links that you would care to share, the platform is yours to share them and tell us where we
Well,
can
thank you.
find you.
Thank you. Well, first I want to say my music. I have a website called paulgibbsmusic.com, and all of that music is out there. And I've put 10 or 12 or 13 albums out over the years, and they're all available online at my website and all of the social media sites. So just search Paul Gibbs Music, and you'll find that. Um, and then Notespire Music. Again, we exist to help artists do what God has called them to do, whether it's video promotion, or video production, social media production, promotion. I'll get those two words right, which is probably the hardest thing that any of us face. And I'm a firm believer that you shouldn't just go record some songs yourself, record an album, or go to a studio, whatever, and then end up with a pile of CDs in your closet that never get out there. So we don't believe people should do that. We want to be able to help in those ways. Recording the studio that I'm standing in right now, we have a studio here in York, Pennsylvania. Small studio. But we can help with producing songs, recording songs, help with arranging, helping with co-writing, anything like that. So encourage people to get a hold of us. Our email is info@notespiremusic.com. You can check out the website at notespiremusic.com, which we have online that explains all of the things that we do. And if you don't see what you need on there, hey, send us an email. Like as I said, we'll pray about it. And if God doesn't show us how to do it, He'll show us somebody else who can help you do what you need to do. Notespire Radio is online. It's online only. It's 24/7. Been broadcasting for over 4 years now. The website is notespireradio.com. We focus on indie artists and their music. We also play devotional features as well. And finally, we have 3 different podcasts. One is the Jesscott Music Hour, which is a music podcast, 1 hour a week, comes out every Friday morning, that I have the pleasure and honor of hosting, indie artists' music. And then we have 2 others, the Notespire Music Artist Insight, which is a podcast that comes out periodically of interviews with Christian artists, their music. And then the Artist Impact, which is hosted by Nate Miller and myself, where we just get online and we turn the camera on and talk about things that may be of interest and help to Christian artists in doing what they are called to do. And all of those podcasts are available at all the podcast sites, iTunes, etc., etc. And also, we have a YouTube channel called Notespire Music TV, where there is videos that may be of help to you. And so check us out there as well. I think that covers it, Joe. Yeah.
Is that all? Is there
I
more?
I think.
Wow,
Let me see. I
good.
made notes here.
Man, you
Well,
you're
finally.
almost not as busy as I am trying to keep up with everything in the pot there. Let me tell you, I do
Well,
want to.
yeah, I mentioned the
Well,
YouTube channel. Of course, we're on Facebook, etc.,
yeah,
etc. But also, finally, everybody, I want to remind everybody to remember the why. Because when we forget the why, we get off course. And discouragement sets in. And we get caught in the comparison trap that we like to call it. And things. If we don't remember why we're doing it and who we're doing it for,
yeah,
it's not going to work. But once we do that, then it should be full steam ahead. And don't let anybody else, like the enemy, tell you anything different. There you go.
And you and I are certainly moving full steam ahead. That is definitely the case of the laundry
Amen,
list
Joe.
that we read off there. What do we call ourselves at the start of this? Jack of all trades, master of
Masters of none. Well,
no. You do a lot of things quite well, sir, and I'm proud. Speaking on my end now, I'm proud to have a Christian Media Spotlight radio show on your wonderful network, Notespire
that's right,
Radio,
Joe. Yes,
a couple
we're happy.
times a week on Saturdays and Tuesdays. And
Hmm.
glad to have you as a radio friend. I consult with this guy a little bit whenever I run into technical trouble because he uses the same software as I do. So when I run into something, I'm like,
Yeah. Hey,
hell, we're right there to kind of work through it together. We're
that's right. That's right.
it's
Yeah.
just great having him just in partnership with and featuring having a lot of the same mission as Red's Room does as well.
Right.
The indie heart for indie artists just as much as ever before. And of course, I'd like to remind everybody as well, you can catch the Jess Scott Music Hour with Paul over there. It's on our network as well every single Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, following our radio show every week. So it is on our network as well. Proud to feature his program as well as the little coffee segments there, the coffee devotional segments there.
Coffee and do nots.
Coffee and do nots.
Coffee and
Yes.
do nots. What are we talking about? Real quick. No, it's on Joe's station.
I love those.
Notes by Radio. We feature it Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays at 7:30 a.m. We have the virtual Notespire Cafe where you can tune in and listen to Coffee and Do Nots.
Yeah.
Authored by Ted Brennan and read by yours truly. Yeah.
Yes. It's not donuts is do nots. I mean, you can eat a donut while having those, and I've got my
And you
coffee
should.
already. But yes, it's not only refreshing reminders to hear the things we should. It's a little empty there.
Time for
Oh,
more.
yeah, you need a refill. That's not only refreshing to hear the things we should do, but also the things we should do not.
Right. Right.
Yes, and
Exactly.
Ted does a great job of those, and you do a great job narrating and illustrating those. Paul, it's been a pleasure. Continued blessings to you, personally and professionally. It's grateful for your friendship, and it's grateful to host you on here on Red's Room.
Yeah.
Hopefully, the enjoyable
Amen.
experience for you. And Red said yes, would love to have you back again, of course. So
Okay.
yes,
We'll make sure the tablet's charged.
it's an
We'll make
honest mistake. Red can tell you how many times I have done a show and I have space and I'm like, oh, it's unplugged, or oops, it's
yeah.
not. Yeah, that would help, wouldn't it? I've been
Oh,
there, done that. I think all of us who have had our hands full and everything, we yep.
yep.
Mhm. Totally empathize. I get it 100%.
Yeah.
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 But you did well. We pushed through, we adapted, we adjusted, show must go on,
Amen.
and everything turned out
Amen.
for our good and for his glory. So thank you, Paul, for being
Thank
here,
you
my
for
friend.
what you're doing. Red, thank you. And Joe, thank you for all that you do for Christian artists as well. We appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.